Okay, I'm going to use my wine bottles from my recycling bin. You're going to remove the label. I have a great tutorial on how to remove labels really easy, and you want to make sure it's nice and clean. I like to use the little alcohol wipes that I get to clean my glasses. It works really well and takes off all the grease and grime really good. And we're ready to get painting. I am using my homemade chalk paint. I have a fabulous recipe. I'll put a link up here above and down below in the description, and it adheres really well to glass. You just want to put a light layer over the whole bottle for your first coat. This project is really pretty if you use mason jars or wine bottles or glass jars that you have in your recycling bin. Anything that maybe you can turn into a vase and put nice little flowers in after you've put the quote on the bottle. And I'm just going to set this aside and let it dry really well. Now it's nice and dry, ready for the second coat. And again, just a thin layer, just cover the whole bottle with the chalk paint. I have the best results with chalk paint. If you use latex paint, it peels off, and I even find some acrylic paint peels off really easy. Now for my last coat, I like to take a sponge and just sponge over the entire bottle. I find that helps to get rid of all of your little brush marks from the chalk paint. I have a really good tutorial right from start to finish on how to paint a glass jar. I'll put the link up above here and down in the description if you want to check that out after. Now you're going to set that bottle aside, let it dry completely. And now that it's dry, I've got my graphic. I've printed it off on my LaserJet printer, and I'm going to apply Mod Podge matte over the entire graphic and put it on my bottle. I have quite a few tutorials on my playlist that I'll put down below on how to do this technique in more depth if you haven't tried it before. This was just printed off on regular computer paper, and you have your best results with a LaserJet printer. Sometimes you can use an inkjet printer, but it has a tendency to kind of rub off. So try a little trial run if you have an inkjet and you want to try this to see if it'll work for you. You want to push the graphics firmly on the bottle, get all the wrinkles, all the bubbles out, make sure it's adhered really well, and then you're going to set it aside. And I like to let it sit overnight and make sure that Mod Podge has dried really well. I like to make little hang tags to hang from the bottles. This is the same process that I did on the bottle. Put the graphic on. These have sat overnight, and now I'm ready to rub them off. I just painted them with black chalk paint and then a white chalk paint, applied the graphics of angel wings, and now I'm just wetting them and rubbing off that paper, and it'll leave your graphic on the little tag. The trick to doing this technique is not to put on too much water. Just dampen it so you can just start to see the graphic come through, and then rub the paper off, and you'll be left with a beautiful little graphic on a little tag. I'm just going to take my drill, put a little hole in the top so I can put some twine through it to tie it onto the bottle. And I'm just going to use some jute that I got at the dollar store, and I'm also going to use a jute to embellish the top of the bottles when it's finished, so it'll all blend in really nice. And I love these little angel wings to put on the bottles. It just finishes them off really nice. And now this bottle has sat overnight. I'm just dampening it until you can start to see the letters through, and then you're just going to rub off all the paper until your graphic is left on the bottle. This process is really easy once you get the hang of it. It just takes a little bit of practice to know how much pressure you put to rub the paper off and how much water to put on. But once you've mastered it, there's so many possibilities that you can do with this method. Okay, I've rubbed all the paper off, and I'm going to put a top coat on. I like using the Varathane matte finish in a water-based polyacrylic sealer. I think it has a nicer finish than using the Mod Podge, but that's your preference. Both will work just fine. And I'm just going to put a liberal amount over the whole bottle to seal it up, top and bottom. Now I'm just going to take some jute and just wrap some around the neck of the bottle, and I just think it makes it look really nice and pretty. Or if you have some really pretty ribbon, that would look really nice wrapped around the top also. Now I'm just going to tie that little tag that I made onto the side of the bottle, and I think it just finishes it off really nice. And I have them all finished. I used 5 different quotes on 5 different bottles, and I also make these little hearts that I love that I cut out and paint them up, and they make a nice little embellishment for these bottles too. If you're interested in any of these graphics, make sure you head over to my Etsy and you can grab them. They're already reversed, ready to use. I had some nice greenery. I just added a sprig in the top of each of these, and I think it looks really pretty. You could also just put a couple flowers in it. You could put a rose in it, a carnation, and I just think they make a beautiful little keepsake for someone that has lost a loved one, and you're kind of trying to find a nice gift to give to them that they would appreciate. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I love to read them. I'll be sharing so many more DIY, thrifting, repurposing videos, so if you aren't already following along, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and that will let you know when I upload my next video. See you real soon. Take care and have a great day.